Hi, friends. Hey, Chris Kelly here. It is kind of late in the week, but I am going to dive back into stats this week and wholeheartedly. The latest, we call it the Market Action Report. It's a reporting monthly that the RMLS puts out. And it's pretty good information. Usually once every month or two, I'll take a little snippet of it and use it in these videos. And today I chose to use most of it because there's some really good, it's year-end information, right? The January report is through December. So I thought I would jump into that. Before I do, I will minimize me somehow. There we go. And we'll jump into just the weekly stuff. So we're largely back to consistent on solds, going back a couple of years here, and pretty much consistent pendings, a little higher actually, but often new listings. So it's funny, I see this 167% change from last week. And when I went back a couple of years, it always looks like that after New Year's. So kind of funny, but we continue to kind of creep up in that days on the market, both in terms of median and average. Sales price median and average has kind of crept back up a little after coming back down a little, that kind of thing. So I want to take some of this data, because this data that I put out here every week, that's a week. That's a snippet of a week of data. And some of the stuff that shows up in the market report is more trending, and you can really see what happens over a period of a year. So I thought it prudent for me to kind of jump into that. So I'm going to start just kind of down the line here. Inventory in months. We've talked about this. It went down in December. So just a little, none of these are like giant, gyrations one way or another, but it came down. And that's not unusual when you go back the last 2 years. It came down in December, all three of these last 3 years. So nothing really dramatic there. Let's see. This is an interesting snippet. Let's see. This is December of the end of the year versus the end of the year prior. Where were we at? New listings up 4% from the year prior. So closed sales up quite a bit from the year prior. Average sales price down a little. Median dead even. So that kind of is that flat market that I've talked about time and time again. Inventory dead even from a year ago. So nothing dramatic in that snippet at the end of the year. Total market time up. Of course, we've been talking about it just inching up. So I'm going to go from there to, all right. So these graphs I like because it shows the trend line that I was kind of talking about. You can look at what's happening over time. So this is active listings in the market over the course of a year, over the course of 22, 23, and 24. So you can see that by and large, we had 20% more listing inventory most of the year. At year beginning and year end, you can see that those converge, and they almost always do. And that's just because listing inventory shrinks and activity shrinks and that kind of thing. But you can see numerically that our listing inventory was higher most all year. And of course it was. More things were coming on at a slightly faster rate than they were selling. Sales were down. Listing inventory was consistent. So let's see. Oops, there we go. So closed sales. I said the market's pretty flat as far as sales. Well, there's 22 or 23 and 24. I mean, they hugged and stayed close to each other month in and month out almost all year. Little divergence right here in the beginning of Q4, but by and large, the market stayed the same. And this demonstrates that. Let's see here. That's closed. Let's look at, average market time over the course of the year. You can see that it just remained higher, fairly consistently higher, right? It wasn't like, that's why I keep saying it's inched up and inched up. Well, it has, but it hasn't like gyrated and pulled away from prior years in a given month. You can see that it's starting to get a little bit wider. The gapping is a little bit wider here. It was a little wider in the middle of the summer, but came together a bit, and it just got a little bit wider. So all that to say, this is just another way of looking at what I talk about, the numbers each week. Let's see here. That's same thing with average and median sales price, right? I look at those on my document here, the one we put out every week, and we talk about those two things right here. But in this graph, you can see it over the course of the year all in one place. And you can see that, the average and median just kind of basically follow each other and in their trending, but it just kind of slowly crept up, actually. And this is pretty old data. So, this goes back a whole long ways, but you can see basically from here, right, 22, 23, 24, that this data it's gyrated a little, but by and large, it's remained fairly flat. I talk about it's come up a bit, it's come down a bit. Well, this demonstrates that in a graph. I don't like this graph as much because I just think it goes back too far. I think they should make this graph basically from here forward and stretch it out, but can't have everything. Let's see here. Okay, there's a couple of decent numerical snippets that I thought were worth talking about. And these are just residential highlights. It's just, instead of it being on a graph, here's the numbers year to date, right? So you can look at listing inventory and listing numbers year to date, new listings, pending sales, closed sales, average and median sales price, market time. Most importantly is this box right here, the difference. So what's this tell me? That year to date, market time's up 22%. Yeah, it is. We've looked at that. And this just demonstrates that and shows the actual numbers. Median and average sales price, not a lot of movement. That's why I said it's relatively flat. Closed sales are up a little bit, pending sales are up a little bit, and new listings are down a very little bit. This again, I just thought, this is a nice way of looking at things in a few different ways. And sometimes that resonates, what it does for me. And again, here's the sales price change versus previous 12 months. Average and median, 1.8 and 2.1. So pretty nominal. I hope I'm gonna attach all of these for those that are visually inclined, but I hope you find that valuable. I don't want to be a stats geek. I enjoy stats. I don't love them, but I enjoy knowing about them. And as I always say, good information leads to good decision making. Having this information available the way that we do and being able to talk about it the way that I can is often helpful for people because what you hear and the perception you get about, God, what's going on in the market, it might be better than it feels, or it might be worse than it feels. But being able to take a deep dive on occasion into the stats and into the actual data can really help demonstrate one way or the other. Or is it exactly how it feels? So I just kind of wanted to jump into that. There's at the national level, from time to time, I put out an article, or I'll attach an article, which I'm going to do. It's a Housing Wire article about the housing market trends to watch in 2025. Decent read, short, but it talks a little bit about some parts of the world, or some parts of the country rather, are better and worse off than others, no doubt about it. And so sometimes it's nice to at least get a grip on what's going on at the national level. Frankly, I prefer the data that we put out every week because it's data about here in Portland Metro. And to most of the people I'm talking to, that's what matters to them. So, but I'll attach this for your viewing pleasure, and we'll go from there. Last but not least, almost our last call, here in a couple days, doing our first event of the year, the annual Kelly Marketing Group movie event up at Sandy Cinemas. It's a morning event. We got Starbucks, Joe's Donuts. The folks at Sandy Cinemas are awesome. They let us bring our swag. They let us bring breakfast food. No theater allows that stuff. and these guys do. It's super cool. Of course, there's theater food and popcorn, etc. available, but it's just they've always treated us really well. I've been doing that up there for almost just over 20 years now. Anyway, it's something we always do. If you have kids, grandkids, or yourself, and want to come and watch Mufasa or come and watch the red one, it's a really fun movie. I haven't seen Mufasa yet. I'll probably watch it, but come on up, see us, have fun. It's on me. It's just our way of saying thanks. Thanks for those that trust us. Thanks for those that advocate for us. So, and certainly thanks to those who have chosen to do business with us over the years. So anyway, that's what I got for the week. As always, I'm here for you and yours. What's going on? What can I be doing to help? I'm here to help. Anyway, take care, and until the next time.